convicted of federal wire fraud for operating a front company on eBay that sold iPhones to customers overseas without fulfilling a single order. Willie pled guilty and spent 1 year in Texas correctional facilities. He just scammed a bunch of people.
That's hardly a crime these days.
Welcome to Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a whole new discography per episode. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my ex-man co-host, Alexander Voltzelo.
Coming at you live from the Fifth Ward this week.
And today we will be discussing every album by
Geto Boys.
Geto Boys, Geto Boys. God damn, this is requested on Patreon by Chris. But even if it wasn't, thank you, Chris, for supporting us and asking us to do this. Also, if Chris didn't request this, this was all Alex. This is an Alex. You've been wanting to do this for years.
I have been wanting to do this for years, but there's we'll find out soon. It was kind of a labor. So, I mean, realistically, before going into this, I really only fucked with like 2 albums.
Yes!
So like, yeah.
Way back when it was we were but seedlings in our podcast days. Episode 69, Alex was like, I don't know what to do. It's either Two Live Crew or Geto Boys. And he chose Two Live Crew. So go check out that episode. It took us until episode 203, but we're finally at Geto Boys.
Hell yeah.
And I see why you thought the association with fun old 69, I didn't realize they were right there with Two Live Crew with the whole censorship stuff in the late 80s. And yeah, oddly important, but a lot of it has not aged well. Some of it, I think, has aged pretty well, but there's a lot here. There's a lot here. God damn.
Depending where you come from, a lot of this shit hasn't aged well.
A lot of it. It is still very funny. A lot of it still is very funny.
I just always found the Geto Boys so fascinating. Like, I remember seeing the album cover for We Can't Be Stopped, and like, is this real? And for those of you who don't know,
the best album cover of all time.
Yeah, we'll get it's hands down the hardest album cover, not just in hip hop, in music history. Member Bushwick Bill, who's a little person,
small,
tried to commit suicide and failed, and they went to the ER and took a picture with him, and this picture is the album cover.
So I read something different. I read that he got into a fight with his girlfriend where he lost his eye, and that's why he was in the hospital. It turned
because he addresses it too in later albums. So she was trying to stop him.
Uh-huh.
So that's where the fight aspect comes from. She was trying to stop him. And it just
shit. So that went from
Yeah, he got shot in the face and lived. That's already amazing.
Okay, so it's good we're tackling this up front because it went from being what I felt was the funniest album cover of all time. I mean, straight up hilarious, the funniest album cover, to being like, oh, that's horrible and sad and harsh, but it's still, and you look at it, it's still funny looking.
The way these guys rap about things, I think they probably thought it was funny.
It's hilarious though. I mean, yeah, it's dark as fuck, but god damn it. So the fact that and also why I find it even more hilarious is that it took that little amount of time to be like, this would be a pretty sick album cover. Let's do this. Let's just turn it around real quick. Take a photo while we're running through the hospital.
Also, I hope Scarface and Willie D were already in their clothes that they're wearing in the photo. I really hope they didn't change into it. Oh shit, we could get an album cover. Let us I really hope these dudes were just hanging out wearing what they're wearing on the album cover.
Went to take their friend to the hospital wearing that. That's Jesus Christ, insane.
And then I haven't really listened to his solo stuff, but I've always found Scarface a fascinating character in the hip hop community. Very, very underrated rapper. And then, like, I remember back in the day on MTV2, him just like professing his like love of the band Kiss.
No
And
way.
yeah, and like challenging someone who like worked at MTV to like a contest to see who knew more about Kiss. And I believe Scarface won. I was trying to find the clip, but it might be so obscure. I don't even know.
Obscure.
Yeah.
But also, I'm having heard all the albums, I don't hear the influence.
I think he took the like, you see Kiss and you think they're going to be rapping about horrible, awful thing, or they wouldn't rap, but singing.
Yeah, it would be a lot better if they did.
It would be a lot better if they did, and they call themselves the Beastie Boys.
Good man, check that episode.
Yeah, I think he took that aspect of like, I want to sound how Kiss looks, and parlay. Also, arguably, Geto Boys. We're celebrating Halloween a little early. They're not as hardcore about it, but a big hand in creating horrorcore, hip hop
Really?
horror. Yeah, they kicked that off. So like this, it was like before Gravediggers.
Check out that episode.
Yep. So
I thought. So yeah. No, I had no fucking idea. I always thought Gravediggers was the first. I mean, you get it with some songs. Mostly the stuff I think of horrorcore is a lot more spooky. I mean, this stuff is gory as shit, but it seems like very grounded in reality.
Yeah, it's also kind of like a slasher flick to me because it's so over the top, especially Bushwick Bill. And like, I'm glad I did this because I didn't realize how integral each member is to the group, because later on there's 2 albums that are missing different members, and I'm like, the heart and soul of the group is gone.
Yeah.
Like you need all 3 of them.
Weirdly enough, even though I have lots of problems with these albums, there's a lot of stuff that I quite like. Yeah.
I have problems too, but
there's a lot of problems. This is the first episode since Destiny's Child where I thought, okay, I'm good with the one listen. Fucking enough. All right. Jesus Christ. There's stuff I loathe to my very core on here. There's stuff that I think is just spectacular. I mean, up there with like, old school hip hop. I mean, the late 80s, early 90s era, which is, I have a soft spot for it almost no matter who it is. But even then, there's stuff where it's like, wait, why does this one feel so sterile? And like, oh yeah, well, there's a whole guy missing. And even though I don't love everything they do, even on their better albums, they're still charming. They're still funny. I mean, it's really harsh. It's really offensive and harsh, but it's pretty funny. I find it entertaining.
Yeah, they're like a weird blend where they took like 2 Live Crew, Public Enemy, and horror movies, and maybe some like shock comedy, and just threw that in a blender, and you get them. And I will say, when the Geto Boys are really good, I think they have a sense of like camaraderie that like comes through their songs that I don't really feel in a ton of hip hop groups.
It does feel more old school, where when I think of Run DMC, where it feels so much more personal. Nah, that's stupid, because so much hip hop is personality driven, but there's something light about it, even though these lyrics are, I mean, they go as hard as NWA does. Check out that episode from before times. There was no video for that one. They go as hard as NWA, but they also have like the campiness of a Run DMC at times. So it's a nice, and then also like the raunchiness and smartiness of 2 Live Crew. So it has this like fun element in addition to it, them being like these hard dudes.
Absolutely. And I think also, maybe getting a little too far ahead, like just when I like got used to their voices, because before I couldn't really pick them out, I feel like they would like change in later albums. They didn't become like, they weren't as distinctive as they were in their prime. Like Willie D and Scarface, and to some extent Bushwick Bill, kind of this start to run like together. I'm like, wait, who is this? And
I don't know if it's just because I I just became familiar over the repetitions of listening, but I started to recognize it more later on. But I felt their voices becoming more, I don't want to say caricatures of themselves, but they became more of a specific thing, like Bushwick over the albums. Like every successive album, he starts to sound more and more like a fucking robot. Like he gets more and more monotone with every album until at the very end, he's just, it's almost grating. Like, whoa, like he doesn't feel like a real person. His voice sounds like a robot.
It makes me sad to listen to that. I'm getting a little ahead, but like, because he is their ODB. He is gonna say the craziest shit on the albums.
He's gotta. He's gotta. And then Willie D, where aside from the very last album, where I think he sounds like really different, like because he's older, he's just sort of the dude who kind of jumps in and out of sounding like Tupac before Tupac, really.
Yeah, he's like the angrier one. Like he's yelling, and then Scarface is more smooth,
very smooth.
From like, it's weird. Early on, he sounds like LL, and then he kind of hits this like Rakim thing, and then he like becomes Scarface, and then he kind of like ebbs into Willie D territory. But
they start to become interchangeable in the later albums. Yeah, those two I felt. Bushwick stands out most. Willie D a little bit more, a little bit, and Scarface sort of just blends in with the rest by the end for me.
Yeah. Just. I don't know, this crazy guys. crazy
stuff. We have some notes from our boy Tom Osman. You should all go support and follow. He sent us a couple pieces here. One of them is it's from the Texas State Historical Association, which is that. Let me say that again, because I don't know if you register what I said. The Texas State Historical Association
absolutely
has a piece on Geto Boys.
Absolutely. The same way Florida should have a piece on 2 Live Crew,
as they should. This piece, I think it was written in 2013, but it's been updated in 2020. And then another piece from Spin called "Whatever Happened to the Geto Boys" from 2022, and a very, very little charming thing. On our notes, he always puts a banner with the band's logo on it, and for this one, he put this image that you'll see on the YouTube video, an embroidered patch taken from Office Space during the wonderful, copier smashing scene where it says, "Damn, it feels good to be a gangster." I didn't, going into this episode, I did not know that's "Damn, it feels good to be a gangster" was Geto Boys. I had no idea.
Yes, and sadly we won't be talking about that song because it's not on these albums, but it's a great song, and I think, after my mind's been playing tricks on me, you might even argue Office Space did a lot of heavy lifting to keep them relevant, or at least introduce them to people who would have never listened to them.
100%, because it's funny, in that scene, that song doesn't play. It's another Geto Boys song.
It's still.
Yeah. Which also, like, there are 2 Geto Boys songs in Office Space, and I've seen that movie way too many times, and I didn't realize either one of them were Geto Boys.
I think that's how I probably had heard my mind's playing tricks on me, but then like watching I was like, man, these songs rule, and I love the juxtaposition of these nerds like listening to.
Yep. I don't know who it was. I don't know if you probably won't remember at the top of your head. Do you remember what song Michael Bolton, the character, is singing in the beginning in the car?
Oh fuck, I don't. It has been a while since I've seen it.
Could be. Was it "Get Off My Elevator"? Cool Keith.
Fuck, man, that soundtrack rules. Like, also, I'm reading Dilla Time right now, and I forgot that like Office Space was also huge for Slum Village.
Who's in charge of the music of that?
I have no idea, but they fucking nailed it. You just don't get soundtracks like that anymore. It says it's Scarface, no tears.
Oh, it's Scarface. So it technically is. It's no tears.
Yeah.
Technically is still Geto Boys, sort of.
Yes.
Look at that.
I mean, there's songs that this features a gentleman named Big Mike. So sure, solo Scarface song is more
Yeah.
Geto Boys than a Geto Boys song with Big Mike.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll get to that. But so we have a bunch of former members. The wiki apparently is out of date. Tom says, I'm pretty sure Geto Boys are forever finished. So I think these listings for Willie D and Scarface below just need to be updated on the website because it says, 1989 to present.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there is a present for them. But so this piece from Spin starts out talking a little bit about Bushwick. And it says, in 1973, Bushwick's family immigrated to New York City from Trenchtown, Jamaica, in an attempt to escape the violence ravaging the island's south. Somehow, random machine gun fire outweighed the coolness of the fact that Bob Marley often played soccer with Bill's dad.
Oh, shit.
That can't be true. Come on. What?
I don't know. Why not?
Unfortunately, the Shah's move was a jump from the frying pan to the fire, as their new Brooklyn neighborhood was a wilderness of drugs, gangs, and unchecked crime. Not the best playground for a 7-year-old. Oh, dude, this is already gnarly. In the Showtime documentary Bushwick Bill, Geto Boy, which I have to watch now.
I didn't know it existed.
Holy crap.
Moved right up to my viewing priorities right now.
It says Bill recalls walking to his new school and seeing an infant thrown from a 7th floor window by a man demanding money from his girlfriend and impaled on a fence in front of him. Later that morning, and every morning for the next 4 years, Bill was harassed and beaten by bullies until finally snapping in 5th grade and knuckling down anyone within reach.
Fuck.
Now, that first part of the story, I straight up don't believe.
Yeah, like it sounds like something in his songs.
Exactly like something in his songs.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be lying about that? In 1979, during the Geto Boys' childhoods, Texas Monthly reported Fifth Ward to have far more pawn shops, loose dogs, abandoned buildings, bars, and broken windows than sidewalks, streetlights, fire hydrants, parks, or garbage trucks. What a clunky and long-winded way to say that it's a bad neighborhood.
Yes.
1 in 4 streets had no drainage system, and of those that did, half simply drained to open, rotting ditches. Dude, these were resort conditions compared to what was on the way. Okay, so it gets worse, apparently.
Holy shit.
Hell embroiled poor, mostly black neighborhoods throughout the 80s as crack invaded. Shortly before the release of the Geto Boys LP, a convicted killer interviewed by the Houston Chronicle said the Fifth Ward had become a war zone of nightly shootings, fistfights, and police harassment, where 7-year-old children know how to handle pistols, and the right amount of money can buy any weapon, even hand grenades. And then we get the Geto Boys.
Yeah, that checks out, I think.
Jesus Christ. Like all the songs about them, I mean, you hear any gangster rap song and they're repping their shit and they're bragging and all that stuff. It's like, okay, whatever. Maybe you're lying. It's probably a bunch of lies. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, sometimes it's not. Yeah, I think the shit like that was probably this fuel for their fire, and it makes sense having that background. I don't think a normal person with a comfortable living could write lyrics the way they do.
No, especially this early on in hip hop. I mean, 86 when they formed.
Mhm.
That's pretty early to be going that hard. And to be fair, the first album isn't that hard. It's a little bit, but they quickly go hardcore.
Yeah, for sure. It's I would say the lyrics on the first album are pretty hardcore, especially compared to like a Run DMC.
Yeah,
but
exactly my thought. This piece from the fucking Texas State Historical, whatever the fuck it was. Geto Boys, a Houston rap group, was formed in 1986 by James Lil J. Smith, owner of Rap-A-Lot Records. The Geto Boys are regarded as the group that not only put Houston and the Fifth Ward on the hip-hop map, but also the South on the hip-hop map. They're also one of the first groups to pioneer what critics would call the gangster rap genre within hip-hop by telling the real and fictional stories of the life of marginalized people in urban communities like Houston's Fifth Ward. Yeah, the original lineup was Keith Rogers, Sire Jukebox, Thelton Polk, K9 / Rap-A-Lot, and Oscar Series Raheem. So no one.
Interesting. No original members. Technically.
No original. Like what we know as the Geto Boys was none of them. That's fucking crazy.
That's pretty insane. Also, that a group like this was kind of assembled similarly to like a pop group is pretty wild. I'm sure, not exactly, but in theory.
And yeah, in theory, they put grabbing dudes and putting them together to see if it'll work. And then the ones that work had nothing to do with the formation is pretty crazy. It says in 1986, the trio released the single Car Freak, which received limited distribution. I hope I'm not misremembering, but that might be on the same greatest hits that Damn Feels Good to Be a Gangsta is released on.
Is on there. I did not check that one out. Is it
on there? No, it's not. It's not that one. No. It's a different song. The Unseen is the one that's
okay.
So yeah, Damn Feels Good to Be a Gangsta and The Unseen are only released on the Uncut Dope Geto Boys Best album, which is always very irksome when exclusive songs are on greatest hits albums. It kind of drives me fucking crazy.
Do that back in the day, so you would buy them. Like, oh shit, it's where I can get the one song.
Yeah. I get it, but I hate it. But yeah, this first album, it's a whole different lineup. We got Prince Johnny C, Sire Jukebox, and DJ Ready Red on here.
Yeah.
Who are, I mean, like no one. This is a different band.
I don't know if this has ever happened before in the history of the pod.
Okay, yeah, I don't think so either, because I didn't realize this until right now, because Bushwick Bill's on the cover, but he was their hype man at first. He wasn't a rapper.
And yeah, they're kind of dressed the way like Scarface and Willie D would dress with the rim tats and stuff. So I didn't even think about it.
Also, it's the fucking cover is blurry as shit. And if I see Bushwick there, I figure like, oh, he's on there, but he's not. He's actually fucking not on here. He's on the cover. But
and there's like the Scarface connection. So I thought, yeah.
By the way, the Scarface connection is not just the rapper Scarface. It is the constant bombardment of Scarface samples on the first 3 albums. So get ready for a bunch of Scarface samples.
They might have like kind of pioneered that too, because in the days of MTV Cribs, every rapper had to let you know they were a fan of the movie Scarface.
Along with everybody who grew up in East LA along with me. Listen, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's a good movie. I enjoyed the movie. All right. But enough with the fucking Scarface posters. All right. I'm done seeing the Scarface posters.
It's like something you do in college and then you grow up a little. And then you hit where I'm at and you're like, oh shit, that's a De Palma flick. I need to rewatch that.
It is a good movie. Good movie. Holds up.
Yeah. Influential.
Very influential, especially to the Geto Boys. So I'm like dragging my feet starting this first album because I'm so blown away that none of them are on this fucking album.
I threw this on as I was like in my car and like doing other things. I wasn't checking the lyrics the way I was on other albums. And yeah, I didn't think to do it. Holy shit.
Insane. So yeah, at this point, I mean, this piece right here clarifies, more in more detail. It says the group's first album release came out in 1988 on Rap-A-Lot Records and featured a new lineup: Sire Jukebox, Prince, Johnny C, DJ Ready Red, and Bushwick Bill as their hype man and dancer. He was their dancer. You imagine how fucking awesome it would be to look at him dance?
Probably amazing, yeah.
Oh, god damn. All right, so enough dragging our feet. Today we're going to be covering all the albums. It's going to be 7 total. First one came out in 1988. Last one, 2005. Also known as the worst year for fucking hip hop and music, in my opinion. But you ready?
I'm ready.
Hell yes. This is 1988's Making Trouble.
The name describes the background. It describes it well. There's so much trouble and I like
the Run DMC influences.
It's nauseating, the Run DMC influence. It's just copying Run DMC. By the way, copying the Run DMC that I don't even like. Not the Raising Hell, fucking King of Rock.
It is more violent though.
Yes. But the rock samples, ugh. I'm sorry, but I already hate it. I fucking hate it. I'm making trouble. It's so corny. I like corny hip hop too.
I get it. I think this, like, it's not great, but I think on like second listen, I'm like, all right, whatever. It's just, I'm not gonna listen to it again, but whatever. It's, it's a product of the times.
It is a product of the times. You're not going to listen to it again, but whatever. Those are all fair statements. But I was pretty worried out the gate with this because
I knew what was over yonder. So
I never, like, at this point, like I said, I didn't even know they did "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster." Didn't even know that. I have no idea what any of their songs sound like. I know that they are regarded. I know like certain songs I've heard references like, oh, that's a great. I know that's happening, but going in completely blind, I'm hearing a bad Run DMC.
Yes, this is like we said, very much a product of the 1980s. I get it. Run DMC's influential blueprint, especially being in the South where they didn't really have an identity carved out yet. So I get leaning on that. It's just, it's kind of goofy at times. I'm glad whoever decided to do an audible and was like, this needs new members. They did it.
Let's just replace everyone. Because so already shitting on it out the gate. But there are things on here that I'm fine with, that I find quite entertaining. So where the title track, the opener, is just King of Rock era DMC, Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
Snitches, the follow-up track, is better. It's not. It's still very much. I mean, the 808 is like super obvious, and it's like, oh yeah, anything at this point in time that had an 808 kind of sounds the same, give or take the rapping or whatever. But Snitches is better. It's fun. It has decent bass lines. It still does the super 80s trading vocals kind of thing, but it's fun.
Yeah, I do like that it's a little lighter sample. It's not the hard rock guitars. So that's, it's like, okay, it's a little different. And then one of the most funny unintentional songs ever, My Balls and My Word.
Balls and My Word. It is quite funny.
Ooh, it goes on like it's this isn't funny. Okay, it's funny. Okay, it's not funny anymore. Stop. Okay, it's funny again thing. There's no rapping. It's
rapping.
Just Scarface say that, the character Scarface saying, all I have in this world is my balls and my word.
My word. Balls. Wait, I thought, was it Scarface or was it the Colombian guy?
Oh, maybe it's been a while. Whatever. It's the quote. I forget. It's the quote. It's the quote from the movie. And then they were getting like gunshots.
Dude, it's so annoying. On first listen, it made me actually laugh. So fun. And honestly, even though like the balls and word sample is very funny, they also use all the other Scarface samples. Say hello to my little friend, which all right, we're done. I've heard it enough times in my life. So even though we use it is annoying, but it is funny. It is funny. It's not a good song. It's just a collage of samples. On second listen, it is unbelievably annoying. It's so fucking bad.
Hell yeah, it is. I think it's just the like mixing in like the gunshots fucking get me the way.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. And that's not even close to the end of the Scarface samples because they continue right into Assassins, the next track.
Yeah. Yes, which I don't know if these gentlemen know what assassins are because the acts they're talking about here are just murders. They're just murders.
Regular ass murders.
But I don't know how legitimate their word is, but ICP considers this the first horrorcore song. So
really,
I think there's something. I think there is something there listening to the lyrics. And another reason I thought it was the same group of guys, because, they're talking about like killing people and doing all, this horrible shit in a very like over the top way. But the last verse, which I assumed was Bushwick Bill, but I guess it's Johnny C. I thought the last verse on Assassins was the funniest.
Musically, it's so funny to have this non-threatening, almost comical beat with these gnarly, murderous lyrics. It's so strange and funny, and to think that like at this point in time, hip hop just hadn't learned to become threatening yet. Like Public Enemy was getting pretty good out of it. NWA was around this time, and they were getting. I mean, a few songs they were getting pretty good at it, but this is still just so fucking bubbly.
Okay, it is. I found the verse or the parts that made me laugh at the end. He's like banging this chick, and he calls her a fucking whore, and then the line is, she put on her clothes, headed for the door, then said, "Welcome to the disease there is no cure for." Like just rapping about getting VD or something. Like made me, that made me laugh.
They are fun. Some of the lyrics are pretty funny. They're over the top as hell, but they are funny. Not so much, more so on other albums, I'd say, but still here. There's still some stuff here, which is funny that they just sort of continued what these guys set up.
Yeah. I mean, like the shit Bushwick eventually says will eclipse everything on Assassins.
And I have to say, for the past week, listen to all these albums every day, several times a day. I am joking with my lady friend, singing the chorus to "Why Do We Live This Way?" I can't stop. Why do we live this way?
This way,
killing and fighting. Why?
Very, very dated production. That's just how conscious rap sounded. It all kind of sounded like "Why Do We Live This Way?"
But that's the funny thing. The thing about that, so it's a funny song. Because it sounds like it should be in Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, it's that, and it has these fucking saxophones at the end. Holy shit, dude.
Hell yeah, those are the best part.
Crazy. But you put this conscious hip hop song on this album with Balls in My Word and Assassins. Like, I don't take you seriously. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whoever was in charge of the group didn't take them seriously either, because they all got fired.
Yes, they sure did. God damn. And I have to say, out of the rest of the whole album, the only song that I'm kind of okay with is One Time Freestyle.
Yeah, that one's okay. I thought Run This was Scarface, because at that point on the album, I Run This and One Time are the most like technically impressive in terms of raps. So I just assumed those were Scarface. I was wrong, but
yeah, I Run This is a lot faster. It speeds things up quite a bit, but I found the 808 to be pretty overbearing on that one. It felt interchangeable with any other high energy 80s rap song, and then I mean, how much can you tolerate of them trading vocal lines and then ending the line in unison? Like, how many times can you hear that on an album without being like, okay, dude, I get it.
I kind of miss it because it seems harder than doing like, okay, you do your verse, I do my verse.
It is harder. It takes rehearsing and stuff. But
I get what you're saying. There's like too much, and I think there's ways to like break it up and do it differently, and we hear that with like a Beastie Boys or like a De La Soul or even Tribe a little bit. So I get what you're saying when it's like everything ends the same way. Yeah,
we're like, I love the way Beastie Boys do it, but I don't love how they do it on their first album. This is how they're doing it on. This is that style, or it's still very embryonic. It's very old school. It's not really developed at all. But everything else, man. Either I hate it or I'm bored. Like, there's just oversampling on No Curfew. I mean, holy crap, that's overbearing.
Also, it's a little jarring. Like, you just did like the Assassin's song, but now you're telling me you're young men and your parents are telling you there's a curfew. So
it's a jumbled, weird album. And then you get stuff there. So like the opener, Making Trouble, is like, trying to throw in the rock elements. The only other song that kind of does that is Geto Boys Will Rock You, which is horrible. I will say that song is horrible.
Yes, I get the feeling Queen's We Will Rock You was played out even back then.
Is there a song in the world is there a song in the world more played out than that one? I don't know if there is.
I feel like Guns N' Roses, foreshadowing, they're getting up there.
Yeah.
If I hear Welcome to the Jungle or Sweet Child of Mine, or I won't let it in the forefront of my mind, but in the back of my mind, it may fuck up my day.
Wow, man.
I'm so tired of those songs. I never throw them on my own free will. So whenever I hear them, it's against my own free will. And
songs like that are the reason we have the rule of worst and least favorite, because I can hear songs like that and be like, that is a good song that I fucking hate. Like that's why that's why I think it's a good idea to separate them, because like, no man, my bias is gonna win this one. I hate that.
For sure.
What do you think of You Ain't Nothing?
That is some of the silliest shit I have ever heard, and I'm thankful I've heard it.
So it samples Hound Dog from Elvis in a very, very grating way.
Yes, it's not a smooth.
No. Who's the producer of this? They fucking suck.
Like they just fucking dumped it in the middle of the song.
You ain't nothing. It's so annoying.
And then there's like this country sample too in it. I don't know if that's also from but it's just like, I was like, you know what? It made me laugh. At least I'm not bored. So
take a laugh.
I'll take a laugh over boredom. So,
and the closer, which I think is only important to mention because the sample that is prominent on this song is also peppered in throughout the whole album. It's going to be peppered in throughout the next album too, is the Geto Boys. I mean, over and over and over and over again. I mean,
that's like their trademark thing. I do think that is cool. They took elements from this and it carried throughout their career. It's kind of like okay, you guys kind of did some legwork for us. So
it's cute. At a certain point, it does get annoying when you've listened to them all in a row. I think if you weren't doing it the way we do it here, then it's not nearly as annoying. But yeah, I'd say this is a pretty garbage debut, and I'm glad every member has been replaced after this.
Yeah, and like I just thought they were like young dudes finding their way here, but
yeah,
I guess it was a skill issue.
Indeed, it was. But now we're on to the next album, and this already has just so much shit. I mean, it went from relatively, small formation, this album had kind of minor support. They toured, but I think they toured with the Fat Boys for this album. Kind of small, and then all of a sudden, this next album is just controversy and craziness and re-releases, and it just gets very complicated very quickly. Before we go into the next one, this piece says, due to creative differences, Sire, Jukebox, and Prince Johnny C departed from the group and were soon replaced with Willie D and Scarface. DJ Ready Red remained as the fourth member of the band. In 1989, the newly revamped group, whose name was changed from Geto Boys spelled correctly, to Geto Boys, Geto, released a second album, Grip It, on that other level. So here it is. This is 1980. Whoop, let me pull it up. The album for it. That would have been a perfect transition if I had the fucking album ready. And yeah, this is 1989's Grip It, on that other level. We know this sample.
Curtis Mayfield, baby.
We know the shit out of this sample. From your favorite
My favorite
movie soundtrack.
Soundtrack, yeah.
Also from Beastie Boys, sampled the shit out of this one too.
Yep.
Was it before this? I think it was before this, actually.
Be on the other end.
What's up, Will? What's up now? What's up, fellas?
Say, fellas, I've been kicking a few lyrics in the back of my mind, man, and I'm tired of motherfuckers disrespecting us because we're black owned and won't sell out. So check this.
Also, it's crazy how we went from
And go to that other
like very primitive beat making, and now this is like a little more advanced.
Definitely. Also, this was before Blood Boutique by a
Okay.
few months.
Yeah.
That was Bushwick, and this is
Willie D. Yeah.
And way different. I mean,
Wait, it's just instantly better.
instantly better.
So let the ego shit in. Black radio is being the song.
I don't even want to talk over it because it's just like, holy shit.
Records make hits because the radio is all about politics. Action is my identity. Whoever you be, don't fuck with me.
There's a Scarface
There it is.
sample.
There it is.
We went alone below. Now I'm doing it like it's yo.
So it's funny. One of my first notes was, it's like a brand new band. It's a whole new band. I didn't realize it literally was a whole new band.
Yeah, I feel stupid for not seeking this out sooner because I thought this was great. I wish I had listened to this one sooner.
You never heard it before?
No. I had only heard where's the disc? I had only heard We Can't Be Stopped and The Resurrection before.
Oh, well, best personal favorite for me.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, it caught me. It smacked me across the face because I was really expecting a gradual evolution, and then you just get a brand new band sampling tons of funk, some R&B stuff, lots of James Brown in there, like good, cool, like really good samples, done in a way that's transformative, at least transformative enough. Things that I wouldn't have caught, like perfect example that blew my fucking mind is Let a Hoe Be a Hoe, which they sample fucking Money from Pink Floyd.
Yep.
But the thing is, they don't just sample the riff. They change the riff. They use a sample and they chop it up, and it's a brand new riff using the same record. So when I first heard it, I thought, why is this so familiar? Why do I know that tone so well? Why don't I? Why? It's because I know the sound of it. It was just rearranged in a way that threw me off.
Also, they put Southern hip hop on the map. And in that song, I was reading some comments where some people would argue that A Hoe Be a Hoe was kind of a blueprint for West Coast hip hop. So, like, never mind, like, Southern hip hop, which, they definitely deserve, but, like, I really think they had an impact on the West Coast as well. So
that's interesting because later on, we're going to get some real West Coast sounding shit. I mean,
for sure. For sure.
God.
Yeah. The G-Funk will come.
The G-Funk will rise again. Oh boy. But until then, and another thing that this album did that just charmed the shit out of me. If you can take something I hate and make it something I like.
Yes.
Gangsta Love.
Yes. I had the exact same feelings on top of being fucking hilarious. And you better believe I'm going to read some lyrics. Like, I hate that song.
Fuck Steve Miller Band. I hate it so much.
This is an upgrade in every single way, shape, and this is why that song was created.
Yes, this is why that song was. That dipshit wrote that song. That fucking tree hugging bastard wrote that song so Geto Boys can make it better.
I'm so glad we feel the same way. Just masters of their craft. So, do I have multiple lyrics? Oh, yes. I believe this is all Bushwick Bill. I need a bitch to lick my nuts until my dick is coming. It's just nice, simple. They rhyme mushy with pussy. Amazing stuff. And then, Bushwick Bill, because I done fucked their best friends and put a whooping on their cunt. I don't think enough rappers use that word. You would think that word would be all over rap music. It's not.
Surprisingly not. Yeah.
And then dude is on fire on this song. From downtown, turn me over on my back, gold, open up my butt cheeks and started licking out my asshole. Like,
yes, that was a good lyric.
like, it's so weird. It's just like 2 Live Crew and Geto Boys like getting their salad tossed, and it just died out.
You had to be real hardcore back in the day.
Oh, if you're gonna go on the record for the public to hear you like having your ass eaten out, like, you gotta be hard.
Real confident, dude.
Yeah, real confident.
Oh, dude, or real literally hard.
Yeah.
So after that, we got Talking Loud Ain't Saying Nothing, which, I mean, it's just great flow from one track to the next. It's snappier, real high energy. Most of the songs here end up being really snappy and fast.
Like, you take Talking Loud Saying Nothing and you compare that to like how clunky You Ain't Nothing is, because they're chopping up the James Brown samples here in a more elegant way, where it sounds more like a song, where we just talked about like how harsh the you ain't nothing, you ain't nothing. Yeah.
It's literally, that song literally sounded like a guy hitting a button over and over again, like a kid hitting a button over and over again. It's so ingrained. So even though I still think at this point the samples are a little haphazard, I feel like it's just more product of the time. Because they're a bit intrusive.
Yeah, the way the drum machines changed over time, 100% is probably like bigger impact on rap music than, say, like whatever the progression guitars are to rock music.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was things, but not the way like drum machines did. Also, shout out to Willie D for introducing me to the lyric. You're getting fucked up your doo-doo walls.
God damn. Clever boys, these Geto Boys.
Yeah.
Another a little bit dated, but still very fun beat to Read These Nikes.
I would have preferred like a harder beat, but still delivers, still fun.
I mean, the lyrics at this point are just getting gnarlier and more over the top and more like, Jesus Christ, man, you ain't putting that on in front of anybody. Like, fucking hey.
I never even heard the term doo-doo walls until I listened to this.
Wild, man. And then, all right, the fucking, the nice is, I wouldn't call it the peak of the album, but it is a peak of sorts. Size ain't shit.
Hell yeah. What the song Method Man is to Method Man, this is like Bushwick Bill's Method Man, where you're like, this is his fucking song and he's running with it and it's fucking amazing. I don't know why the lyric when he's like, you got to get on your knees to fuck while a mister like me is still standing up. It just made me laugh. Like this to like let you know how hard he's working. Like you may get to relax when you have sex with a woman. This man,
Stand up.
he's on his feet all the fucking time.
By the way, for anybody who we haven't clarified in a long time. When Alex says missed it, that means the N-word. But it's been a while since we've updated.
Oh,
I think
that's
last time we mentioned that was like 4 years ago. So
sorry. Yes. I don't. Yeah, I'm this. And then I don't know how to say this one because if I change it, I feel like it does. But eventually in the song, he talks about like prostituting men while he was in prison, and he's like, get shit on his...
N is it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. Let a N get shit on his dick for one cigarette. Obviously, when he says it, it rhymes better, and it just fucking made me laugh like
nuts.
Like, I mean, holy, I can't name another rap group where they talked about prostituting out dudes in prison.
I can't think of one. I like to send us your other songs where they do that.
Hey, if you're an encyclopedia of that shit, leave that in the comments.
So for that song, I found the lyrics to be the only thing making me love it, because musically it felt a little bit less interesting. It's a little all over the place. It's mostly drums and record scratches with like random samples thrown in. Sometimes it's just straight up sound effects. It's not quite as hooky. There's no real bass line to grab onto. It's just like a collage of samples. It's really the lyrics that are going to pull you to that one. I mean, boy, oh boy. Absolutely. And then not Metallica's Seek and Destroy, but we have
like the Scarface track where he channels some of that like smooth Rakim stuff, and he just like comes out swinging, and it's just using the power of hindsight and being from the future. It's so obvious why he had the solo career and the other guys didn't.
I'm so like curious to hear his solo stuff now. Because yeah, I mean, great song. Super, you're talking about the smoothness of it. Like for 89, I really, at that point, you know, Eric B and Rakim were already doing their thing, but yeah, it's refreshing. It's just so fast and smooth, and
it's some of the tightest rhyming you will hear in 1989.
Yeah, it's extremely well done. No Sellout is like one of the first songs to kind of slow things down a little bit. It's groovy, but it's a good pacing change. I dig that one as well.
Yeah, and that's where they the first of many times talking shit about Guns N' Roses, because they kind of felt like, hey, these guys are singing about awful shit and they don't get in trouble, but we get in trouble. I forgot to say, this album got them like banned from Geffen Records.
Yeah. A lot of things. We have some notes here about the shit show.
Yeah.
We have to jump into a little bit of it now. I mean, absolute shit show. So this one was put out, and Rick Rubin came across it, as he's wont to do. Like, I mean, the man finds his way around hip hop. Yeah. And he says, the piece here says, Rick Rubin was impressed with the Geto Boys recording and decided to release a different version of the Grip It album on his Deaf American label. Originally set for distribution by Geffen Records, the graphic nature of the group's lyrics, especially the necrophilia described in Mind of a Lunatic, caused the company to pull out. The album was subsequently distributed by Giant Records. Now, since they brought it up, I might as well talk a little bit about Mind of a Lunatic, because boy, it's fucking great. I mean, it's one of the tracks here that samples James Brown via the JBs, which was like, I think is one of his bands. And man, it's a fucking great main sample, and it has a little bit more of a serious edge to it compared, at least musically, compared to some of the other tracks here. It's a good closer.
Yeah, that guitar sample rules, and then some of the harshest shit I've heard in rap. Bushwick Bill, it's a whole verse about rape and murder.
Pretty hard to justify and excuse in polite company, but if you're in the world of Geto Boys and you're in the world, then it's just Bushwick Bill.
It's a gory B-level horror movie. Yep. And this is the hip hop equivalent of I Spit on Your Grave. So
wait, what song is that?
Sorry, so the movie I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, what is that?
It's like a gnarly like movie that was considered unwatchable because this is brutal sexual assault and rapes in that movie.
I feel like there's like a million of those movies.
There is, for sure. For some reason, that one was very like kind of became the poster child of it, though.
Interesting. It was only a matter of time before they named a song Scarface. They have the samples, they have the rapper, now they have the song. And boy, in case you weren't tired of the Balls in My Words sample, they brought it back, folks. I know you wanted more.
I just started laughing on the balls. And then I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the same bass line they used on Paid in Full. So it's like more Rakim similarities there.
Oh, is it? It's Blues and Pants from James Brown, apparently.
Okay, so probably like James Brown's is, the king of getting sampled. And then, you brought up the necrophilia, and that's, this song, I'm pretty sure it's Scarface. Towards the end of the song, he starts fucking a chick. Drive-by happens. Get her in the head because she's on top of him, of course. He's not, he's not going to put in work. He's had a long day. So she gets shot in the head and he keeps fucking her.
Charming. Oh, wonderful. Good God. And it's like, yeah, but the song rules. I mean, I don't know what
I don't know what else to say other than like, no one watches a horror movie and wants to commit murder. So that's kind of how I feel about like Geto Boys. These are like awful, unspeakable acts. But I don't. I don't listen to it and like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to like.
Oh, hold on, I never thought about that. Yeah, huh.
The way he puts that really speaks to me.
You said that they use the same sample in Paid in Full from Eric B. and Rakim?
I think it's the same. Am I wrong?
Well, because I only remember being not into that album at all. And I fucking love that sample here.
I guess not. The bass line in Paid in Full is Don't Look Any Further by a guy named Dennis Edwards. But I thought it was similar for some reason. But I guess it's different.
Fair enough. But the only song that I'm not big on is Life in the Fast Lane. I don't even think it's a bad song. I think it's still better than almost everything off the debut. It's just, I find it to be the weakest thing here. I'm not too big into that harmonica sample in the main hook.
It does,
I believe it samples Parliament.
It does feel like filler, and I was initially confused. Because it's like credited DJ Action, and then I just realized that's a Scarface.
I see.
So yeah, it's just a Scarface song.
I see. Yeah, it probably didn't need to be here. It could. I don't feel like it warrants a spot. It doesn't really hurt the album all that much. It kind of flies by, but it's the only down point.
Also too long without Bushwick, in my opinion. This is too long.
Yeah. To think that he's kind of like the only original member is also like
that is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. After that, we have a Trigger Happy End, which is more funk, but man, feels real good when those bass and drums come in. More Scarface samples though. Plenty. There's more Scarface samples.
Yep. And Bushwick comes back. Oh Lordy, we got no one's safe. We got some Chinese slurs here.
Oh man, you got it all. Yeah, this is just a lot of things that you're not gonna hear in a modern hip hop album on these for sure.
No. So, what a journey.
Oh, it's a journey, and it's the best, baby. It's like, yeah, this one I found to be like crazy consistent. It kept my attention the whole way through. It comes in real strong. It ends real strong, and there's really no dips in the middle. It has good pacing. The lyrics are fucking hilarious. The hooks are really strong. The way they use the funk stuff, it feels because I'm not super big on funk. Like I like things about funk more than funk itself, and this is exactly it. They took all the things I like about funk and then made it better for me. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic album. My best and personal favorite.
Wild pick, but I support it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, especially thinking about like all the controversy behind it, which I didn't learn until after I'd heard most of the albums already. But so yeah, Rick Rubin wanted to re-release this on Deaf American, and it was going to be distributed by Geffen, and it was pulled because of Mind of a Lunatic. So this piece continues. It says, entitled simply...
Imagine they were like, we're okay with one instance of necrophilia, but two, we got to draw the line somewhere.
Our hands are tied, all right? It says, entitled simply The Geto Boys, it was released in 1990 and contained the following disclaimer. Deaf American Recordings is opposed to censorship. Our manufacturer and distributor, however, do not condone or endorse the content of this recording, which they find violent, sexist, racist, and indecent. I love throwing them under the bus completely.
I mean, it is those things.
It absolutely is those things. But I think I'm pro anti-censorship in every regard. And believe me, if it was a whole album of Mind of a Lunatic, I'd still be defending it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Two Live Crew, just like we talked about how great, like the free speech warriors. Yep. And
without Two Live Crew, we would have had a lot of trouble with music for a long time.
Yeah. Wouldn't have the Geto Boys.
Shit, man. We wouldn't have a lot of to think that fucking Dead Kennedys and Geto Boys are really like the two big groups that like, oh yeah, that was a huge deal. Like that was a national thing.
Yeah. Good company.
Yeah, indeed.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. Spears goes on to say, the violent and sexually explicit lyrics included on the Geto Boys created a good deal of public controversy as opponents advocated censorship. This call for censorship was fueled by the testimony of 2 Kansas teenagers who claimed to be quote unquote temporarily hypnotized by the Geto Boys song Mind of a Lunatic, which caused them to shoot another teenager. What a weak ass defense.
It is a weak ass defense because you aren't tricking out other men. So I don't believe you. You didn't get your ass eaten.
Yeah.
Like these are the things the Geto Boys actually stand for.
Exactly. Really? You just so happen to get hypnotized by that one and not the one where you have to go to prison?
Yeah. Oh, they hypnotized you and you didn't get your ass eaten. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Don't believe that. No. We've all been there. Listen, all right. It goes on to say prominent politicians soon launched a campaign against gangster rappers, and the labels that recorded them are the controversial rap artists, including 2 Live Crew and Ice-T. Body Count's in the house.
Body Count. Next month, baby, we got new Body Count coming out.
Yes, we do. Other controversial rap artists, including 2 Live Crew and Ice-T, later found themselves the targets of this campaign as well, as some labels bowed to public pressure and began severing ties with so-called gangster rappers. Fuck it, pussies. So, yeah, that brings us to the next album. This one caused, this one, Grip It on another level already caused just so much shit. But they're not done yet.
This album is also lyrically, it's still crazy. I'm not trying to, but it is not on the same level as we just heard.
Pretty crazy. Goddamn. So if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. This is 1991's We Can't Be Stopped. Love this sample. It's just an intro track, but goddamn.
As the year 2000 reached
I like robot voice, but it kind of threw me off for Geto Boys.
assassin
Yeah.
and quoted out a
It really is like a prologue type song.
for the ghettos of
But
the world.
I don't want to skip it because it's such a great sample.
The mastermind of record shift. Mr.
There's something that's like, oh shit, something's coming.
Gangster of
Oh,
love,
yeah.
Willie D. Bushwick motherfucking Bill. And DJ Ready Red, the musical.
I'm actually hugely disappointed that this wasn't a full track because of how great this sample is.
Under this, the coded balls and my word would be established in new territories.
All day.
Rebel rap families could profit by this or be terminated.
So I'm gonna lower that, and then even though it's almost over, and then go into the next track. I didn't want to skip that opening track because it really is super cool. But this is the following.
And this song addresses the whole Geffen fiasco.
Yeah, it's time to do it like a G.O. once again. You know, in 1989, we knocked on the door. 1990, we beat on the door. Now it's 1991. We finna kick this motherfucker in.
Let's talk about a scandal. The album Jeffrey found too hot to handle. Fucked up the minds of you.
Yeah, this is not shying away from any of the details of everything.
Those hypocrites will distribute guns and roses without our shit, and they say we're racist act.
Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Man, fuck them hoes. We got new partners and got shit done regardless.
So
Cause our fans are ever ready down the
really interesting opener.
Yeah. And this is I don't care that it's cliche. This is my best personal favorite.
I wanted it to be best and personal favorite from me. I wanted it to be that so bad. And when I heard it, weirdly enough, that track is one of the reasons why it's not. Because the lyrics are like perfect. It's addressing exactly what happened. It's the most raw in your face thing. The fucking beat though is the most flimsy, light, weak kind of thing compared to the heaviness of the previous album, or maybe not heaviness, but at least the hookiness. Like it felt. Go ahead.
I agree on that song. The like beat making does feel a little bit dated, but I think the samples and the rest of the beat making on the album are just kind of like, this is what I think. outside of like Still, which is kind of an outlier, and we'll get to that. Like, this is what I think the Geto Boys should sound like.
You're not wrong, because I would say my favorite songs by the Geto Boys are on this album. Like, this is the other album I would listen to a lot. The problem I have with it is the first few tracks, the title track, which, like, even though I love the lyrics, goddamn, the beat just took me out of it. And you're supposed to be openings, you're supposed to come in fucking hard. The way that fucking Do It Like a Geo comes in hard on the previous album. And then Homie Don't Play That, which is a very musically a very strange song, which and it goes about a third of the way through the song, it starts getting really hard to predict. Like, it starts jumping from crazy section to crazy section. It's really interesting, but the production is super flawed. There's like no low end. There's no punch to it at all. It feels thin and flimsy, which is like, you give us that opening track with that, what's his name from Giorgio, whatever, the guy who did the Scarface.
Oh,
music.
Yeah.
That's what the sample's taken from on the opening track. You get this thing that's hyping you up, this big and then you get these flimsy, weak, no bottom end production tracks. Oh man, it really disappointed me.
I will say, the Homie Don't Play That, the beat is surprisingly light and dancey, and it does kind of feel like G-Funk is making its way through the Geto Boys. Next up, you get another N in the Morgue, which is like Scarface is traded, and he's still smooth and technical, but this one he's just like mass murder. It's crazy. Rappers like bragging about killing 1, 2, maybe 5 people.
Yeah.
He's just taking out like hundreds of people in this song. It's fucking hilarious.
It's pretty comical. I do like the song. It feels like it would fit in on the last album a little bit. It doesn't, but it's still, the production is still a little lacking in fullness and snappiness. It's a good song. I wouldn't call it a favorite, but it's like, all right, the production is getting progressively a little bit better. It isn't until Chucky that I flip, because that is one of my all-time favorites. I would even call it my favorite Geto Boy songs if I had to.
That's like proper horror hip hop too. It's the most evil sounding thing probably in their whole discography. I like it placed because it feels like Homie Don't Play That's Willie D's song. Then In the Morgue is Scarface's, and then it's like Bushwick Bill. So it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then Bushwick, it kind of feels like he's like trying to one up Scarface's body count. I don't know if he does, but he definitely wins on originality of kills.
Yes, it is very original. It's campy, but it's circusy with this carnival flair to it, of course, in a very creepy way. It's so original. It's such a cool beat, such funny lyrics. Well, maybe not funny, but entertaining Bushwick lyrics.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, this is incredible. This is like a real ass evolution. It's not just using funk samples and having fun with them and being creative with funk samples. It's like, oh no, they're now they have like a real personality to it. And that's what bummed me out about this album the most, is like, oh, they were doing fucking the best shit, but they opened the album really weakly. Like, it just bummed me out. And then you got Mind Playing Tricks on Me, which
stone cold classic right there.
Indeed. So
yeah, this like predates Gravediggers. So
I was thinking, what immediately came to mind is How Do You Want It by Tupac. Same bass line. And even the vocals have hints of what Tupac would adopt later on. Like, oh yeah, I can see where he got that. Yeah. I mean, this song is like, he definitely enjoyed this song. I think it would be safe to say.
Yeah. For me, I think the line, Candlesticks in the Dark, Visions of Bodies Being Burned. I think Gravediggers sampled that, and then for sure Clippings did. And like the way Clippings uses that line is just like so cool what they would do for it. But in a way, this is kind of like the Sixth Sense of rap songs, where like if you grow up with it, oh, you know the guy's dead at the woo. But like at the time, I could see how this came out, and you're like hearing these verses with these like almost like Twilight Zone twist, and this like. That's crazy. I don't know if anyone's done that on a rap song where like they've been these unreliable narrators before.
Not to mention the song isn't like musically, it's not like a spooky song. It's just a really catchy ass bass line. It's like, oh, that just feels good. It's serious, but not in like a dramatic or dark way. It's just, it's like a serious ass song.
When I initially heard it, I just thought it was kind of like a chill song, and then I like sat down with the lyrics and was like, oh shit. Not really a big deal, but it's like the most chill Willie D will ever be, probably. And I love the way he says sword. It's like schwad. Like
pretty cool way to say it.
It stuck out. Like had to rewind it a few times.
Like saying it like that in regular conversation.
Schwad. Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know if I could be crazy, but man, I really thought who's rapping on I'm Not a Gentleman. That's Willie D, right?
Yeah, first verse is Willie D on that.
Yeah, because
it's all Willie D. It's all Willie D.
Because boy, he really sounds like Ice Cube on that one. Just his pronunciations.
There's a line where he said the line "ladies first." Who the fuck made that shit up? 9 out of 10 times it was a bitch. Like it's just
so the lyrics to I'm Not a Gentleman are the funniest. I think my favorite lyrics in the whole discography.
Yeah.
Because they're so petty and they're so small, like small scale. Like
exactly.
Like I'm not. Did he say like was it one line where he says I'm not going to give you my seat? I don't care if my feet hurt too, or something like that. Like I eat with my hands. I'm like, I eat with my hands in front of your mom. Like I don't care. It's like really petty, tiny bullshit like that. It's just I'm just not a gentleman.
Yeah, like going on dates and like if you get cold, I'm not gonna freeze. I'm keeping my coat.
That's because you get all these songs about like murdering and then fucking crazy, crazy sexual stuff, and then this dude is just like, nah, man, I'm not. Pull your own seat out. I'm not gonna pull the seat out for you.
It's just like so funny too, where it kind of feels like it probably wasn't, but it's just kind of funny to think like Willie D taking this song to like Bushwick and Scarface, and they're this like, no, that's too far. That's just gonna be all you, man. We're not jumping on this.
Hey, I ain't putting my name on that.
Hey man. Yeah.
I don't even like the beat at all. I just love the lyrics so much that it wins me over.
That's just how good they are.
Yeah. And then let's go to the funniest song title of all time. You already know what I'm talking about.
Sometimes you just gotta let your nuts hang.
Gotta let your nuts hang. Fucking A, man.
Yeah. And has the line, all lawmen suck dick. So again,
don't disagree with that.
Dead Kennedys and Geto Boys come
together. Fucker Wars is another one. I mean, good ass, high energy, aggressive, but still hooky with a good snappy feel to it.
Yeah, when was it Bushwick or someone says the United goddamn states of that bitch America, and
that's a Bushwick track, isn't it? I don't know if it's all him.
Yeah, it is Bushwick, and yeah, it's this that's this poetry saying it like that. I ain't going to war for a shit talking president. Like it's just.
It's funny because, like, you're not going to go to war. They literally won't draft you.
That had like passed already. But yeah,
no, I meant like because he's a little person.
Yeah, he already got.
I think he's exempt.
Which makes it funnier. Like the draft was over. There's no way they would draft him, even if it was. But like his heart's in the right place.
Exactly. God bless him.
It's in the right place until he goes like he threatens to like nuke Iraq or something, and he says he wouldn't give a fuck who dies because he's tired of paying high ass gas prices.
Hey man, we've all been there.
He's a man of the people.
He'd be accidentally doing America's dirty work, though, unfortunately.
He unintentionally ended up,
Serving the fucking machine. What was it? So I don't like the chorus on "Ain't With Being Broke," but I like everything else quite a bit. It ends up winning me over.
I kind of like in actual, like real relatable lyrics. I think it's Scarface or Willie D. They're talking about like working hard to like redeem themselves, and then they say, "But who's gonna hire a motherfucker like me?" And it's this like, that's kind of how I feel like going back to college. Like if I do all this, like I don't, different. And then also like the line, without them dollar signs, it's like living and dying at the same time.
Ooh.
Just good
Poetry.
stuff. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Quickie is like the ballad, or at least the Geto Boys version of a ballad.
Yes, I felt the same way. I thought, it's going to be raunchy, but it's going to be like sensual. Maybe there's some like back and forth, like they're going to give her hers, but they went straight to, I'll be over right after I take a shit. Like that's one of the first. So like this out the window, like, if you, don't get your hopes up because it is not that kind of song. It did tell us he's not a gentleman. I don't know what I was thinking.
Indeed. And it's actually pretty cool. I mean, it's a good change of pace and style. Whereas most of the album is pretty high energy. It tones things down a bit. It's a little bit sweeter, at least musically sweeter. Lyrics are still hilarious and not sweet.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. She wants to lick my booty, so I guess I better let her. And then once I came, I didn't want the bitch to kiss me. Like,
yep. Oh boy.
Man, these songs are. I live for raunchy rap music.
Yeah, I know. I would say Punk Beach Game is probably a skip track for me.
It's just a little filler. At first, I was like, that's not a stance I was expecting you gentlemen or not gentlemen to take. Like a live call and response thing. And they're like, ladies, don't let no man call you a bitch.
Yeah.
And then they just have all the men call them bitches.
Oh, they have the women call them punks.
Call them punks, which isn't.
It's not quite the. It doesn't really feel. No, you call me a punk, I'll be like, yeah, I have several punk records behind me. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, if you go to Geto Boys or a 2 Live Crew concert, and women aren't being degraded, are you even at their concerts?
Better yet, don't bring anyone you love that's a female to them. That's very step one.
Step one, yeah.
Another sort of left field song is The Other Level, which it's vocals. I don't know who's. It's got to be Scarface on there. I don't know for sure, but he almost sounds like fucking Lou Reed.
It is all Bushwick.
It's all
Bushwick.
Holy crap. He sounds like Lou Reed on there.
Hell yeah, he does. He's the work. He's Houston's Lou Reed.
Crazy. And it's even more kind of poetic. The beat sounds like it's on heroin. It's so sluggish and woozy. It's a very unusual song. It's quite different from the other ones here.
Yeah, I don't know if Bushwick ever did heroin, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, the man's gnarly. Very.
I'm amazed he made it as long as he did.
Yeah, R.I.P. Jesus Christ. Tough life.
Ooh, man. But,
It closes with Trophy. Back to the Fast, Sleazy Funk.
Yep. Just going after the Grammys. And this one wins the Grammy for most fuckboys featured in one song. And they're like, Randy Travis, Guns N' Roses, get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, man, Randy Travis, good Lord. I musically just sort of felt like the rest, but lyrically it felt more like a closer. It's like a nice theme to close it with, especially the way it opened.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, it is a good album, and it grows on me more the more I hear it. But even on second listen, I was like, man, the opening few tracks really like let me down momentum wise. And the album picks up completely, and it has like some of the greatest songs on here. But beginning to end, I think the previous album is just sort of almost flawless. Whereas this one, just the pacing didn't do it for me.
This is definitely the strongest they'll be
At this point. It is a down. We're only going downhill from here. I hope y'all like fucking sledding because Jesus Christ.
I can't believe how much more we have to talk about.
We have most of it
Jesus
to talk about.
Christ. Okay.
So here's the thing. We spent so much time on these albums because like this isn't.
That's the good shit. That's the
Yes.
good shit.
The next 4 albums that we have to discuss, we will discuss them. We're not going to just run through them, but we don't need to go through every fucking detail because these albums are going to get progressively less interesting. I promise you.
Absolutely.
We listen to it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, this album, it has the cover that we talked about up top. Absolutely insane cover. So this piece says the album cover featured Willie D and Scarface pushing Bushwick Bill through the corridors of a hospital after he lost his eye in an altercation with a girlfriend, which, yeah, I mean, as you said, it is true, but I guess they didn't point out that it's,
yeah.
You know what? I don't know which worse to put. Like, is it worse to leave it like that? Or is it worse to say like, oh, it's because he was trying to kill himself? That is true.
Yeah, no, you need the whole story. Like it's this, and it's crazy. Like I know I remember seeing a piece about, people who have like survived suicide, and this one guy talks about like he doesn't even remember doing it, and he can't even like fathom, like now that he like got better, like that he couldn't even fathom doing it. So like mentally you're in a like I'm sure some people are just tired and sad of this world, but I'm sure some people, and I'm going to guess, I don't really know, Bushwick Bill was probably not in a fucking, I think he was in like one of those hazes.
Yeah. Cause man, that's the ultimate scare of like, oh yeah, you do that when really all you do is wait it out and you would never have thought about doing it again. Ugh, Jesus Christ. That's fucked up. But this thing goes on to say, though the band received virtually no radio airplay, I wonder why, the song became a hit. Mind Playing Tricks on Me is the song they're referencing, earning the group a following in New York and Los Angeles, markets that were traditionally difficult for Southern rappers to penetrate. The song even reached the Billboard pop charts. God damn.
I love the choice of words using penetrate when talking about.
I did enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
This is a funny quote from this piece. It says, to be clear though, Geto Boys shit was real. Lyrics about pistol whipping women, robbing elderly blind men, dismembering prostitutes with machetes and chainsaws, and executing crackhead priests all in one song. Taken from true stories and police cases that never made it beyond Houston's Fifth Ward, the cracked out battlefront of a neighborhood group members Willie D and Scarface grew up in. Are you kidding me? What?
It sounds like a fucking gnarly place, the description you read earlier. So
dystopia, dude. It's a complete apocalyptic wasteland, it sounds like.
Fucking Texas, man.
And I mean, it's called Fifth Ward. It sounds like a sect of a prison.
Oh yeah, like I think I like heard that term with like Cash Money talking about like ghettos in Louisiana. Like, yeah, they call them wards. Like, it doesn't sound good.
Does not sound good at all. So, but now we're on to the next one. And this is where things start to go south. Pardon the pun. Willie D is gone. He went to go solo. And now they've added Louisiana-based rapper Big Mike. And yeah, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. This is 1993's Till Death Do Us Part.
Killer, you're face to face with Scarface.
G to the E to the T.
Here comes motherfucker, die hard to the end. Mr. Scarface, not your ordinary dope man on the gorilla, my nigga.
There's a bit of a...
The production is crazy because they had those samples, and then when he jumps on, I thought it was a sample from an older song, but I'm like, oh shit, no, he's just rapping. Like,
yeah.
bullshit. Cause I'm still a lunatic. Body snatcher, Peter.
That's Scarface, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
sounds a little bit like more like Biggie.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I don't know if he's like trying to fill that like angrier like
Yeah.
Willie D void.
So this it comes in real angry, but I don't know if anybody can tell just from that little snippet. There's like no bottom end on that song at all. There's like no bass line. You can't feel any bottom.
Yeah, and it's just so late. Like the beats are more technical and layered, especially on that song. And I don't know if I like that for the Geto Boys. I think what they're saying is so absurd and ridiculous that it's like their voices should be like front and center, and when you bring in like a beat like that where there's just so much going on, I don't know if I like that for the Geto Boys.
This album does a lot of things I don't care for. I think it's okay. It's like it's an okay album. It's a huge step down, a very noticeable step down, and the songs that are good here they're just good. They're like there's nothing even remotely close to as good as the previous two albums on this album.
I think there's two songs on here that I would include in the legend of the Geto Boys.
Please tell me Serial Killer is one of them.
Not initially, but I could be talked around to it.
We'll get to it.
Yes. I'm in a haze. I believe they sample the Commodores. Is that on this one?
They do it a couple times. And
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. 6 feet under. 6 feet under.
Or 6 feet deep.
Or yes. Sorry. I don't know why I wrote under. Maybe just 6 feet deep. I'll gladly include. I think that's a good song. It's fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually really don't like it. So it's just Easy by the Commodores, which is a song that I love, and it's a song that's made for me that I don't like I don't like what they did with it. It just musically it feels bizarrely sweet and somber. Easy is a song that I shouldn't like but do. So I think me like deviating from like the original in any way is like, all right, well, I won't like it in any other package. So 6 feet deep, just it bummed me out. The lyrics I found to be surprisingly depressing.
Yeah, for sure. It does feel like it's trying to capture some of the magic of my mind's been playing tricks on me, but it works for me. And then I guess I confuse this with something else. So yeah, whatever. That song and yeah, Serial Killer.
Fucking Serial Killer. I like Serial Killer because it is one of the most ridiculous premises. I mean, it's a cereal, it's the kind you eat. And they're talking about killing the cereal mascots, and it's really funny. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah.
It's just silly shit. And for a rap group, it's kind of wild. It took this long to get to like blatant homophobia. Like, back in the day, it's just a given. But like the Geto Boys, it took them four albums.
But don't worry, it's going to be on most albums from here on out.
From here on out, yeah.
Plenty of homophobia.
They were too busy innovating that it took them a while to get there. But yeah, I mean, it's just so ridiculous talking about these cereal mascots in that way. So
yeah. A little bit earlier in the album, we get "It Ain't," which it's not too bad. I like some of these horn samples are like crackling and distorted horns.
That feels more suited to their style.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. The same with "Crooked Officer," which I think is one of the best songs on the album. Maybe the best song, maybe like musically the best song for me. Very mean.
I don't like the main chorus, and I could tell A Bullet to the Face has like really subdued Bushwick. It really it bums me out the way he sounds on Crooked Officer.
Well, this is kind of where he starts to become more robot sounding, and he gets worse with later albums because there was so much energy on the past two that he brought, and now he's starting to get more monotonous. But I do like the bass lines quite a bit. I don't mind the chorus. It's like semi-sung vocally. It's not too bad. But yeah, I'm okay with it.
Kind of jumping around a little. Straight gangstaism, which is some of the wildest spelling.
Oh, dude, I had to read that a couple times. Gangstaism, yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
That beat's insane, and maybe not in a good way.
Not in a good way. So now they're fucking with West Coast G-Funk sounding stuff.
Yeah, it's like this fat, wobbly bass sound. Yeah, the G-Funk is prevalent there.
And I don't know, you told me what they're called. I forgot. I just call them the Dr. Dre theremins because that they are officially using them now, and they're going to be around for the next few albums.
Yeah, and it's crazy that they're like the George Clinton well, I don't know if they're actually theremins, but yeah, it's like that's George Clinton's thing. Yeah. But Dre made it his thing.
Yeah. They're all over that song. But I actually don't mind the beat. It's a little bit derivative, but it's fine. I would say the song is just good enough.
Yes. I think a song where Willie D's presence is really missed is This Dick's For You.
Oh my God. I hate it.
When that song came on, I was like, he really is the heart and soul of the Geto Boys. Like, you just can't replace him.
Dude, it's
prevalent on other songs for sure, but that one like really drove it home.
So it's a very smutty song with sensual samples. It has a very West Coast sound to it. And there is a chorus that is sung that is ridiculous and terrible, and it repeats.
It's bad.
It repeats more times than you could possibly imagine. And by the end, it repeats that whole chunk like 3 or 4 times in a row. Mm-hmm. It's actually infuriating. But on second listen, I hated this song.
Man. Yeah, I just don't like it. And then no Willie D, subdued Bushwick Bill, although he does get the line, not only do I fuck the body, I fuck the soul. Like,
that's a good line. I will give it. I did like that line. Yeah.
Fucking, what's the guy from, he's the fucking like Shang-Chi or Shang-Chung for Mortal Kombat. Your soul is mine. Like, yeah. It's
oh man.
While we're on the topic of things that piss us off, though, the thing that drove me over the fucking almost unforgivable is Bring It On. This album,
yes,
is like 50 some minutes. This song is 8 minutes. If you cut this song off the album and the outro, the album is a reasonable length. This song, I get putting them up, getting them a spotlight. That's fucking cool. But it's like, there's 100 people on here, and then it's just Scarface once. Like, Bushwick isn't here, and it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't belong on here.
It's trash. What I felt was as a okay main hook. Mm-hmm. It gets old after the first 3 minutes, and then it proceeds to shit on itself into the ground viciously.
The opening verse is kind of funny though. I'm like, is that a child? Is that a child rap?
What my first line was, we have what sounds like a child rapping on Bring It On. I thought it was a child.
It could be a lady. It could be a child. Yeah. I hope it's a child. If it's a child.
It's impressive.
That's pretty fucking funny. It's pretty fucking funny. It should have just been that child's verse, and then the song's over.
And then the song's over. So we have the fucking kid rapping on the first verse, and then around 4 minutes in, I don't know who it is, but I hate him. He's the gruff guy, the gruff voice guy.
I don't
so annoying.
I don't know who any of these people are.
No, never heard of any of these people.
Yeah, I can't help you out.
He's the one with the gruff voice, and it's like the most. Fucking man, it's like he's trying to be the type, a Busta Rhymes type. Or I don't want to say the RZA, he's not always gruff, but a little bit like the RZA and Gravediggaz, where it's like that kind of shouty, gruff, aggressive type of rapping, but he's stinks and he has nothing original about him. And he's just, I don't believe anything he's saying. He just feels like a fucking phony. I'm talking so much. He's probably going to come kill me now, but I just hate I hate the song. And then the outro is just the same beat as the intro. By the way, there's an intro on every song from this point forward. It's the same beat as the intro, except they're just listing off everyone who is rapping on Bring It On.
Yep. Like I said, this is not a great album. I miss Willie D. No offense to Big Mike. Maybe if he like came from a different avenue, I would like him, but he's not Willie D. But even with all that, I think that song takes it from a this was really misguided and okay album to this is shit. This is bad.
Yeah. By the end, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. There's some good songs here. There are a couple all right, that's not bad. There's some songs I don't mind at all. Although I will say that the song Raise Up, which I'm fine with the song, but it opens with the intro to Squeeze the Fruit by the Commodores, which is a fucking amazing song. I'm like, oh hell yeah, they're gonna do something cool with this, and then they just never touch it again.
They don't.
Yeah. But it's like, these are fine things, but there's so much here that is just going to ruin the overall experience. This is a playlist album. Pick out a couple and there you're done.
For sure.
But now we are on to the next one. And
yes,
this is the last thing that we're going to be like, oh, there's that song from that thing. There's a song that we know. This is the last time we're getting something that's recognizable, because after this,
the last time we're getting anything enjoyable.
Be real careful with this one. So now Big Mike is gone and we got Willie D back.
Hell yeah, as God intended.
Yeah, Big Mike didn't have quite the longest run in the band. But anyway, this came out in 1996. This is The Resurrection.
This shit is one of the hardest hip hop songs ever. This should be if you have a fight playlist, yeah. Also, Back Up in That Ass with The Resurrection is what a way to go out.
Oh man.
It's with The Resurrection.
Back up in that ass with The Resurrection.
Die, motherfucker, die.
Yeah, I think we're all envisioning destroying a copier in a field right now.
Yeah.
And never let go, cause if I let go, then I'll be spineless. I'm going insane.
I don't know. There's this. I don't know. I think subjectively, or not subject, subconsciously in their minds, they're the song is called Still. We gotta come out real hard. This is this should have been their swan song.
It really should have. And I mean, honestly, when I first heard it, because I hadn't seen Office Space so long that I didn't associate it with it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't big on this song. It just felt like, all right, I know the direction they're going. I'm not big on it. I came back to this album a day later after listening to more albums, and was way more into that song. I was way more into The World Is a Ghetto. I still think it's not my type of thing, but holy shit, do I like these songs way more than when I first heard this album.
Yeah, I have some, not nostalgia for this album, but I guess it's the way it sounds. It's just a very specific time in history, and these songs aren't really the greatest, but it's a fun ride. And it's this, like I said, Still is the greatest song on here, and then we got a mixed bag of things, but I think there's something about the production and the beats here that are charming. You're
better on it, better on this one than I am. I really didn't like this album. There's still
I think that's fair. I thought I was gonna after having context within everything, I thought I was gonna like it more, and I kind of backed off on my initial what I thought this album was.
Mm-hmm. So I softened up on it on second listen, but it's still really not my type of hip hop. I just typically don't like the style of the late 90s. Well, this is 96, but you know, this point going into the early 2000s is when hip hop starts doing a thing I don't like, and the style starts shifting, and people like DMX start coming around, and I'm just not into that style at all. And this sounds like that. So there's some stuff that I'm okay with. Like I'm okay with open-minded. I don't mind that beat at all.
That's like menacing G-funk.
Yeah, a little bit. It's very West Coast sounding. But yeah, it still has some cool evil little samples. Hold It Down is somehow mean and sensual at the same time. But it drags on a long time. I like some of the samples. So it just kind of like, all right, I'll take the good that it gives me, even though I don't really love it. But what else do I, there's only a couple things. The things that I like on here, I barely like, honestly.
I think the charm, and I said it before, I'm just going to say it again. Like the charm is if you want to call it charm, is their lyrics.
Yeah.
And this is really lacking here. And this is more of like the way it sounds and feels, which is not, it's not why we're here for the Geto Boys. But yeah, there's this Hold It Down. There's just something about that production that I like about it.
There's a good number of stuff that I really don't like, though. I mean, as much as like I'm sort of lukewarm on the stuff I like, boy, the stuff I don't like. I mean, I would say the main hook to Blind Leading the Blind is dog shit. I hate it.
That song's fucking wild, though. The piano sample? What the fuck is that?
I find them to be pretty corny as shit, but they are there.
I like it went past corny for me, where I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. We're almost like the guitar sounds like they would have used it on like the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country games. Like,
oh yeah.
So like it goes from like corny to this is actually insane to me.
Well, at least it crossed over to the other side for you.
Yeah,
it didn't for me. The other thing, there's several things I don't like. Several songs I don't like, but Ghetto Fantasy, another one of like the most, at this point, one of the cheesiest things they've ever done. And then they do the cardinal sin, bring in the female R&B vocals.
Yes.
And they're officially that type of hip hop group. And I am really, really not into that.
I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Ghetto Fantasy, I initially didn't like it. And I was like, oh my God, this is smooth ass Sonic the Hedgehog R&B funk music. I don't, is it still DJ Ready? If you like strip, I don't know who, I don't know who was making the beats here, if it was a number of producers or what.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, some of these songs, if you just stripped away the vocals, I find it kind of charming production.
Really?
Or like, I'm like, this is insane. They're making crazy choices. It's not for the Geto Boys, really. I've said what I think their best sound is, but I'm just like, I kind of gotta I guess I don't have to respect it, but I do.
God damn. I'm glad you're at least tickled by it. I was just like, fucking let it end. God damn.
Yep.
I was also like that with the closer, Point of No Return, which, Jesus Christ, man, just cheesiness. There's so much cheese on this album.
Exact same feelings as the other two songs. Just like the I think the beats, the set, it's just nuts. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. And I will say, Point of No Return, at least, I was really missing the lewd, crazy, racist, sexist lyrics. But at least that song, they go out threatening to butt fuck people. So
threatening to what?
Threatening to butt fuck people. So
you take what you can get. All right,
I'll take
consolation.
And I will say there is an attempt on "I Just Want to Die" on Bushwick Bill. trying to make a horror song there, and
I would say
maybe
it's my favorite song on the album.
it's the most real, it's the most gritty outside of Still. And I mean, he did want to die in a group that's saying so much fucked up shit. You can say like he's actually been there.
Yeah. It's not only that, the beat is like this weird, is doing a lot of the kind of spooky haunted house sounding stuff. I find it to be the most interesting beat on the whole album.
For sure.
Yeah. So that one got a pass for me, but yeah, I would say that they're already leaning so heavily into the West Coast sound. And I thought, I was like, oh man, this is like the West Coast album. Wrong. They're going to lean into it even more, folks. They are not done going out West. But there's virtually nothing about this I have any interest in. It's not my style of hip hop. It's the last album they have like good songs on. And I would say 2, or maybe more than 2, but even though those ones I don't really like, I like 2 maybe.
Yeah. And it does hurt me to say that because I was really rallying for these guys on the getting a little ahead, but I was like, I really want them. And also just like Bushwick's past, and like they're not going to go out on like a Tribe Called Quest level album, but I'm like, I just want a few morsels, just a few, and we sadly don't get that.
Not really. Let's just get into it.
Let's go. Let's rip this Band-Aid off.
Look at, and that's fucking, and he sent also a photo with Geto Boys with Mike Judge and other white people whom I don't know, but that's Mike Judge.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes, dude. I mean, he really did a number for them. Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, also I thought My Mind's Been Playing Tricks on Me was a bigger hit, but apparently just on the East and West Coast. So yeah, I'm stoked that like Office Space kind of got them more recognition.
Yeah. But now we have the next album, and the one album, technically it's like one of the 2 albums, no Bushwick Bill on this album. So strap in and I hope you're ready.
Yeah. Like I said, let's rip these Band-Aids off.
Hell yeah. This is 1998, Da Good, Da Bad, and Da Ugly.
Also,
Still going. Yeah. Here we go again.
It's like Master P Cash Money beats.
Artists I don't have any interest in, especially Master P, who I believe is the Tupac guy, right?
Yeah, kind of.
He just sounds like a cartoon exaggerated Tupac. Yeah, this guy.
Oh, dude, Willie D. The Tupacification of Willie D is like
exactly
crazy.
The Tupacification, I like that term. I was blown away. I couldn't believe how much he was just sounding like Tupac.
You do it better, but yeah, that thing. Yeah, he's like very firmly in that camp now.
It's like, oh yeah, he died, so someone's got to be Tupac now.
Someone's got to do it.
All right, I'm done with that song. I'm done with that song.
First of all, that's not even like one of the worst songs on the album, which is crazy.
It's not.
You know what bothers me is they called this The Good, The Bad, The Ugly, but there's only 2 members now.
That's right.
A movie that is notoriously about 3 people, and now you only have 2. Whatever.
It doesn't make any sense. And for that reason alone, worst, least favorite.
Boy,
that's not the reason. This album, there is really almost nothing not even remotely good I can say about any of this. This is straight up fucking trash. I mean,
this is
crap.
This is really bad, and I like. I'll get into it, but yeah, no, this is. I mean, I wanted to give it, but it obviously didn't get it. For me. It's really bad, but yeah, this thing I'll just talk about this album, whatever.
Yeah, this. So I think every song is straight up shitty. There are 2 things that I'm okay with on the album. One is Ends Ain't Doing, which is a transition track I'm okay with the transition track because it's too
Yeah.
short for it to ruin itself.
We got acoustic guitars too, which is crazy.
It's weirdly somber and
Yeah.
kind of dramatic and has like these sad harps on it. It's pretty corny actually, but
Mhm.
it's short and it's not the worst thing ever, and there's not even any rapping on it. And then the other thing is They Bitches, which is, look, it's heavier and meaner than most things on there. I don't like it much, but I would say it's noticeably better than everything else. Now from this point on, name a song, and I'll tell you why I fucking hate it. This is horrible.
I think there's some other songs that have some, what do I want to say? Some redeeming qualities, even if they're not home runs. I obviously don't love them, but while we're on the subject of They Bitches, that song was so close to being like, that's the that's the song off here. But boy, that harpsichord just like, it was so close. It was so
that broke you
like,
out of the car.
Yep. I was like, this is almost a legit, god damn it. So
I'm surprised you hate harpsichord that much.
just with the Geto Boys, I guess.
They're not very Baroque, I do admit.
Yeah. I'll just go in order. The only thing I like about Living for the Moment is they worked in a rhyme about dusty roads.
That's pretty cool.
The great American muffler wearing dusty roads.
Oh yeah, American Dream.
So that's the only good thing I like. That is the most Y2K ass sounding beat I've ever heard in my life.
Yes, boy, there's nothing. See, the lyrics aren't funny. There's nothing catchy about the beat. There's nothing interesting about the production. It straight stinks.
Eye for an eye, mediocre beat. It's an instance where I think Scarface is so good, he saves the song.
Really?
Like I could feel him putting this song on his back and fucking carrying it. Like, I think he's that good. You know, it's not going to be like oh shit, you got to listen to it. But like, I could tell he's working hard.
I couldn't get over the corny synths because there are a lot of synths on that one. Quite a bit.
It's a harpsichord for me, synths for you. Yeah. Also, I think it's funny they like say sorry, what was it? They Bitches is called They Bees technically, and then
yeah,
like, we know who you guys are. Don't.
Well, on the wiki, it's spelled out. On streaming, it's every instance of the word bitch is now a B, and every instance of the word hoe is H. And I saw, along with that, across the whole discography, streaming on Apple, I don't know if it's like this on Spotify or wherever else, tons of typos and little errors, just little grammatical errors, a lot of misspelled words all over across every album. Whoever is in charge of this band and the streaming stuff is not the best proofreader. Doesn't seem to care that much. And that's one of the weird things that they do. They just put B's and H's instead of bitches and hoes.
Yeah. Another one, Scarface is working real hard on B's and H's.
Yes,
it
sure is.
It just sounds funnier.
Yeah.
Oh, another song that got like real close to me, or for like, oh shit, this might be legitimately great, is Gangsta, Put Me Down. It's kind of invoking that like Mine's Been Playing Tricks on Me thing. But man, the fucking pass the duck sheet on the left-hand side shit, it wrecks it for me.
Wait, the what?
The pass the duck sheep on the left-hand side.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That has no business being on this.
Well, if you do me the honor, if you go to the wiki and you go to that song and look who's performing on that song.
Oh fuck. We got Beyonce on. I didn't even know that.
And
then
Latavia.
Holy
from
fuck.
Destiny's Child. Check out that episode.
That makes sense though. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy dude, my mind's blown.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a shitty sample or no name backup singers. It's fucking Destiny's Child on there.
Holy fuck. Oh, well, I guess it's notable for that. I mean, it is good, but sadly, the Destiny's Child part
Blows.
sucks, but it also makes it noteworthy.
Yes.
Holy
It-
shit.
I hate the song, but it's mostly that section that really kills me. So at least we're agreed with that. Man, what else? So the one thing that I found pretty abrasive about the production, some of these drum machines are rough sounding, particularly on Street Game. It sounds so cheap.
Dog, those gondola beats. I don't think I've ever talked about gondola guitar riff, whatever I use in hip hop music. It's just
Like mandolins. Yeah.
yeah. What the fuck is going on in Street Game?
Oh man, roughness overall. Also, I couldn't tell if that line on Retaliation is a reference to Gravediggers or a complete ripoff, where he says suicide. It's a suicide. It's the exact same cadence, exact same.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like a, tip of the hat game, recognized game.
But either way, it sounds like Casio keyboards. It sounds like shit. I fucking hate it. The drum machine there sounds horrible too.
Yeah, and then I think the most awful thing on this album is Thug Ends.
It's pretty fucking bad. It's pretty bad.
Have you ever been sitting around being like, man, what if Tupac did some like tropical ass music? That's this song.
Look no further, because if you ever want to hate The Bed's Too Big Without You by the Police, and you needed a reason to hate it more, this song is example. Check out episode of Police from back episode 5. Yeah, I don't think people can access episodes 1 through 13 anymore because it's not on YouTube, but whatever. We'll recap them one day.
One day.
Yeah. But yeah, it samples the Police and absolutely butchers it. I mean, it's just tropical and reggae and annoying and shitty and just fuck. It's rough. Do Your Time is really fucking bad. It's one of the most grating female rappers I've ever heard. I don't know who it is. I can find out. Is Geto Twins? Is that who's on there?
I am not. It looks like it. I am not familiar with it. Yeah, that would be it. Twin sisters. Yeah. Real twin sisters.
They have the most annoying voices I've heard from I think any female rapper of this 90s time period. There's something about their voices that's just really ear piercing.
And you know what? There we go. There's the Cash Money connection. Manny Fresh is a fan of them.
Oy. And then Free, fucking, oh my God. I mean,
bad.
And also, I'm bringing it up because of that song, but it's also on a lot of the album. The soulful R&B vocals are now rampant. They're all over the place.
This is not, unless you're using those R&B singers to sing about raunchy ass shit. This is not the group for that.
No.
Imagine we had Beyonce singing about like eating booty or like something raunchy or like fucking someone and then getting shot. Like that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I enjoy it more than whatever bullshit she already does. Definitely. Oh man. Yeah, I hate this album. And honestly, the fact that Bushwick isn't here, I mean, you could skip it already just because but the fact that it's also this bad.
A lot of the songs, and I don't need to go into detail with it's not the Geto Boys I know and love.
No, not even close.
It's not.
In fact, this is just a perfect example of hip hop that I loathe. There's a very specific kind of hip hop that I will never enjoy. I only need to hear it once to know, like, oh yeah, please just never again. It's just the same reason people are averse to most of the stuff that we like, because it feels horrible when you hear it. This is that for me.
Absolutely.
So my worst and least favorite, but we have one more. God damn it. It's been a
I wasn't
wild ride.
Yeah, I was hoping to like wrap this up in an hour 30, but
no.
They're too crazy.
Too crazy. So there's a big gap between this one and the next one. Yep. So now we get the Holy Trinity back together. All three members. Bushwick is back. So there it is. Final album, 2005's The Foundation. 2005. Why is it that everything in 2005 sounded just like this?
I don't know. I was like, okay, it's not awful. It's not going to be the same. But maybe everyone being back together, like, this is okay. This is okay. I was like, maybe something. This give me something.
Something. This, man, those key samples, those pianos, it's like it was the only thing that all these rappers did in this time period was use that fucking type of piano.
Yeah.
All right, you get the fucking idea. Alex, go ahead.
This pains me to give this worst least favorite because when it came, I was really rooting for it. But I think where the last album got like close, it got really close to like, this might be good. I don't like anything on this album. I don't like anything. The only funny part is when Bushwick Bill shouts out R. Kelly.
Yes, that was funny. That's a good moment. He does.
That's it.
Dude, doing it way before everyone else was. throwing out R. Kelly. Hell yeah, dude. He wasn't afraid.
Oh man, he did do it. He did, like, it was like an open secret. But
Yeah.
like Bushwick Bill was the only one who like went on record and was like,
Hell yeah.
yo, yeah.
Too bad the fucking song stinks, so it didn't make an impact.
It's bad. And yeah, that's yes, y'all. And he sounds rusty.
Yeah, he sounds bad on here. This is the last album, so he really sounds the most robotic. It sounds like his vocals are double tracked for most of them, which is a weird sound. It is, I think it's a really bad sound for most hip hop to double track vocals like that. Yeah, and like you said, there's nothing funny or inventive, or it's just smutty and violent, and yeah.
There's no like rawness like on Still. It's just it's real generic. At one point, when the song When It Gets Gangster comes on, I just wrote just fire who was ever in charge of making beats. Just fire them. Just fucking
I just wrote "This sucks" in all caps. That's my note.
That's when that broke me. I was like, okay, there's not going to be anything on here.
It's bad. So, but this is where we differ, because you don't like anything on here.
I don't.
There are 3 songs on here where I'm like, oh, holy shit. I don't hate that. That reminds me musically of early Geto Boys, and I didn't get anything like that. I didn't get anything that made me feel hopeful on the last album at all. Those 3 tracks are I Tried, 1, 2, the 3, and Leaning on You.
Fuck, I was hoping you'd say Dirty Bitch.
No. Oh,
I do not like 1, 2.
really?
I'm so bored with that.
I'm okay with that song.
Okay. All right.
What about I Tried?
Yeah, same thing. They just like, I'm so bored. Like nothing stands. I'm surprised because like those are 2 songs where like they stand out to me the least.
So that's interesting, because the reason they stood out, and they stood out hardcore, is because every song on here is 2005 pianos, edgy, horns, those kinds of samples, all the crap that we got in that era. I Tried, 1, 2, the 3, and Leaning on You are using classic R&B samples. They're using old samples the way they used to. They used to use old funk samples. Everything else sounds like they just cooked it up in a house in 10 fucking minutes. Those ones are sampling old school stuff, and kind of, so it felt like how they used to make songs. It's not nearly as good, of course, but it reminded me like, oh, that's how they would take cool old songs and fucking cut them up and make them a little bit unique. So they brought a little bit of hope. And that's really the only reason those 3 tracks kept it from being worse, is literally those 3 songs.
Well, yeah. Leaning on You, I know they're older, but I don't want to hear the Geto Boys be sentimental.
It is very sentimental. Yeah, it is oddly sentimental. Yeah.
It took them their whole career, but they finally succumbed to the token reggae singer on G Code.
Oh God. Oh man, I really fucking hate that bass line.
It's bad. What? It seems like they're trying to recapture the glory days, but it just ends up being generic. It's bad.
Terribly aged, like early 2000s beats on that one.
I think nothing to show. Having a more, like I said before, having like the more minimal beat and making their voices the star helps, but not by much. The craziest shit on here, like production wise, is real eng shit.
Boy,
What the fuck is that?
it is fucking miserable. Like that sample is so goddamn annoying.
It's not as grating as an actual alarm. Also, shout out to Clippings who actually did that, but it is like a pulsating alarm throughout the entire song.
Yeah.
It does not change.
It doesn't stop. It's so abrasive. And you take away that sample, I still hate the bass line almost more than the fucking the little annoying sample.
Yeah.
It's just a perfect example of how horribly they shit the bed with this thing.
It really bums me. I get no pleasure in saying these things. And then the secret, why are we doing tropical beats a second time? It fucking sucked the first time.
Yeah, it's the only song on the album that brings back the female R&B vocals, which I'm glad it's not on more of the album, but it is still bad.
And then Dirty Bitch, Bill is trying, but he does not. He just doesn't got that dog in him anymore. Although does commit domestic assault at the end of the track, though. So
he sure does, in a very explanatory sort of way. Good God Almighty!
And then we close out with Castlevania, like a Castlevania sounding fucking song.
Yeah, the
outro thing.
It's the same as the intro. Dude, I literally wrote Castlevania pianos and synths, so we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm glad how many times we on Steve Miller sucking, unless it's the Geto Boys.
Yeah,
and Castlevania.
It's exactly how it ends, though. I mean, dramatic as shit, but it's an unnecessary outro for the most part. And Dirty Bitch is also quite edgy and dramatic, but it gets old. Yeah, geez. I mean, we knew these later albums are going to be rough. It always is with hip hop groups, with very few exceptions. But this is fucking tough.
It's one of the toughest, like last ditch. I'll call it a reunion album since Bushwick left, and it's been I get no joy out of saying that from a group that was just so crazy and innovative and fucking balls to the walls and unapologetic. It really does bum me out.
Yeah, but far from surprised though. It's just the way it goes with hip hop groups. I mean,
yeah,
it's literally all in my mind, because I could only think of Tribe. That is the only one I could think of that even they start to suck. And still wasn't horrible.
Yeah, they had a bad stretch. Yeah,
was it Love? That album fucking blew, and then they came back with a great album. But which hip hop groups didn't just completely nosedive?
Beastie Boys. And I
still think their later albums are pretty bad.
I don't think they have a bad album. And it does feel fucked up saying that, like, the all white. I kind of don't count because it's like a different era, but like the Roots started. Yeah, I don't love the more like mellow down tempo Roots stuff, but once they like hit their stride, even albums I don't love, like in their later career, I still think they make interesting music.
Yeah, I actually really took it up on the Roots, by the way. I really disliked a lot of their later albums, except for their last one, which was amazing.
Undone, right?
No.
Was it-
And then you shoot your cousin is like.
Oh,
the-
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Undone.
yeah,
I might have given Undone worse. I forget which one I gave worst.
I think like Undone and then you shoot your cousin are like interesting at least. Even if I didn't love Undone, it's like they're trying shit there. So
Yeah, that is one exception. Yeah, I'll give it that. But unfortunately, Geto Boys didn't fall into that camp. They're more of the standard.
yes.
Two Loud Crew sort of camp.
Yeah.
But after this, they reunited for one performance in San Bernardino in 2009.
Rock the Bells, probably.
Is that what it was?
It is. I can't imagine what else it would have been in San Bernardino. So
Right. And this says 2015, the group convened a Kickstarter campaign soliciting money to record a quote unquote final album entitled Habeas Corpus, for which high level donors could earn some amazing benefits: a golf outing with Scarface, a night of bar hopping with Bushwick, or a social media endorsement from Willie D. That seems kind of phoning it in, honestly, on his part. Top tier donations earned an overnight spot on the Geto Boys tour bus, and for the highest donor, a custom full-size Geto Boys casket with an autographed pillow.
amazing. Fucking amazing.
That's what are you gonna fucking do with a casket? That's a whole room.
That's his love. That's his love of Kiss. He saw Kiss do it, and he's like, "Geto Boys should do it."
Oh my god! It says despite just having just finished a well-attended tour, the group's Kickstarter fell on its face, ultimately failing to raise even half of its $100,000 goal. They couldn't fund a decent album with $40K. Tom adds, honestly, you can do that with $40K, buddy. I mean, 100.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Who do they know making caskets on the like for cheap? Like those aren't expensive. I mean, those aren't cheap.
Yeah, definitely. It says in a Vlad TV interview, Scarface admitted that because it looked like fans didn't want one, another Geto Boys album would never happen. And in ending completely at odds with their volcanic career, the Geto Boys simply petered out, replaced by rappers making music even more salacious and outrageous than theirs. Jesus Christ, that's depressing.
I don't know. I don't think like people knew. Like I think there's social media game. This may not have been there or
yeah, 2015,
whatever.
Man. Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, that is a little late to kind of come back with nothing behind you. Man, it says in early 2019, a near symptomless Bushwick Bill was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a condition that rapidly progressed to stage 4, calling for intensive chemotherapy. The remainder of the group immediately began to publicize a farewell tour titled The Beginning of a Long Goodbye, the final farewell, which was actually announced without notifying Bill, Jesus Christ, partial proceeds of which were to be donated to pancreatic cancer awareness. The tour was canceled weeks before its kickoff, however, and on June 9th, 2019, Bushwick Bill died at age 52. Ugh. The tour didn't even fucking get off the ground. It says only hours before Bill's death, Scarface had announced a run for Houston City Council, proclaiming Scarface is dead. I'm not going to be a 75-year-old rapper. I'm going to be finishing my last term in office as president when I'm 75. God bless him.
You know what? I did fuck up. I saw he announced his like farewell tour and he was doing it with a band. And I fucked up. I fucked up. And I know that's not like my responsibility, but like just hearing the like Kickstarter thing and like how Bushwick, now I'm like, fuck, I would have this piled on my debt for Scarface in hindsight.
Jesus Christ. What a way to go. It goes on to say, despite good intentions, he bombed in the election and retreated from the public eye. Then the following spring, contracted severe COVID, consequent dual pneumonia, kidney failure, and a fever above 100 would left him on dialysis and soliciting his 240,000 Twitter followers for a replacement kidney to no avail.
I think I still feel bad, but I think that the tour got canceled because of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it says as of May 16, 2022, Scarface has again reversed course and will be touring solo this summer under the banner Farewell Tour. And I don't know how that went. I mean, that was 2
or
years
maybe
ago at
that's
this point.
the one.
Was that the one?
Yeah, I think that's the one. Okay. Point is, I fucked up. I should have seen Scarface live.
Fair enough. I just saw on his wiki, on Scarface's wiki, that he got the kidney transplant from his son.
Okay, hell yeah.
So he asked 240,000 people, and when no one came forward, his son finally did. Holy shit.
Man, I should have signed up to give Scarface my
Imagine Scarface having your kidney.
That would be like, I would tell people and they wouldn't believe me. They'd just be like, you're full of shit. Like, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Not that I would have like been a match or whatever, but hypothetically.
You don't know that you weren't.
I don't know. Yeah. Scarface, if you need another kidney.
It's your boy. It says after the Geto Boys dissolution, Willie D flew below radar with occasional guest appearances on tracks for fellow Southern hip hop legends Rick Ross, Young Buck, and Bun B before running into legal trouble in 2009. Convicted of federal wire fraud for operating a front company on eBay that sold iPhones to customers overseas without fulfilling a single order, Willie pled guilty and spent 1 year in Texas correctional facilities. He just scammed a bunch of people.
That's hardly a crime these days. 1 year to Willie D, that ain't shit.
He fucking sold fake iPhones and or just pretended to sell iPhones and just stole their money.
Can we just get like a regular like GoFundMe thing to make sure Scarface and Willie D can live out their old age in peace?
Jesus Christ.
They've given us so much.
It says, upon release, a changed Willie became a Fifth Ward community advocate. Throughout the last decade, he ran for public office, spoke at youth facilities, high schools, and universities while penning an advice column for Vice magazine. By late 2021, having established a rep as a seriously sharp-dressed street intellectual, Willie was hired by Saitama, one of the world's fastest growing crypto platforms, as president of NFT curation and talent acquisition for a reported but unlikely $50 million. What the fuck?
So first of all,
what is happening?
Never mind that the crypto shit is probably looking more and more every day like a scam. This, even if it wasn't, that man is not qualified.
No, like there's plenty of legitimacy in crypto, or at least like the ethics or like the philosophy behind it. But when you put a man like Willie as the fucking president of one of these things, absolutely not. The man went to jail for not giving iPhones to customers.
Yeah, he's like, oh, ones and zeros, we're gonna have to give that away.
Oh my God, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that is the saga of Geto Boys.
The Geto Boys. And
what a fucking wrap up, man.
Who knows what Scarface and Willie D will get into.
Hopefully they're all right. I mean, that's fucking nuts, man.
Also, there's just like so many horrible people. And sure, Willie D scammed some people, but like these guys don't have, I hope they did, knock on wood, like domestic assault or rapes.
Not reported anyway.
Not reported. So like, I'll take a scam artist over other people. Yeah,
I understand trying to make money and just doing
exactly
going about it the wrong way. The other stuff is a little bit more questionable, but
yes,
despite the exhaustion that we may have faced listening to these albums, this was a fun episode, and huge thanks to Chris for suggesting this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is one for the books for sure.
It is, yeah. And then like Injury Reserve was cool, but I've just been craving just people with particularly like rappers with wacky antics.
Yep,
so
antics. Less experimentation and artistic freedom. A little bit more smut. We'll have a little bit more fun there.
Yeah, so glad to get it.
Hell yeah. So let's do a little recap.
Best personal favorite, We Can't Be Stopped. Worst least favorite, The Foundation. Woof.
Indeed. And for me, Grip It on that other level, best personal favorite. And The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly, worst least favorite. Holy hell. One of the worst albums I've heard in a while. One of the worst albums I've heard since the last Destiny's Child album, actually.
And it featured Destiny. There's a lot of
Destiny's Child.
There's a lot of weird connections in the Geto Boy universe.
Very, very weird. But thank you so much for listening and watching and hanging out. Thank you again to Chris for suggesting this and pledging in it on Patreon and in supporting us and letting us do this fucking ridiculous show. If you want to support us, you know what to do. Leave a comment, talk some shit, tell us why we're idiots, like the video, subscribe, be a part of the group. You can follow me on all social media at Panda Monkey and Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
And also please be sure to follow our history guy, Tom Osman at Tom Osman Sounds on all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for his music stuff and his podcast, Whatever Comes Next, where he interviews a bunch of indie musicians and he gets interviews for us too. He's a very, very cool dude, very smart guy, and very thorough researcher. So go support him. Links in the description. Not going to forget Patreon, baby, where Chris went to suggest this episode. Patreon.com/everyalbumever. That's where you go. You get 2 bonus episodes a month. You get to see our schedules in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You get to join the Discord, be part of the community. So you can suggest albums from this year, brand new albums for us to do singles episodes on. And if you're tier 2, then you can suggest a full discography for us to cover in these bigger, longer, very thorough episodes. In addition to, you can suggest bonus episodes for Patreon. So any album from any discography, we do a bunch of bonus episodes on those. So lots to do, lots to have, lots to enjoy. Go there, do that. Thank you. Wrapping this one up. What the hell? What should we close this with?
Let's go out on a high note. Let's close it with Gangster Love.
Gangster Love. I am not opposed to that. Hell yes. So thanks so much for listening and watching. See ya.